And you'll want to do a little bit and then carefully pick up your clay from one side. Turn it over. So do you see how the rulers are going to make sure that it's all even? So you'll know when you've gotten the right thickness, because your clay will stop moving. Make sense so far? All right, and then you want to get the rib. You can use the black one or the red one, it doesn't matter. And you want to gently run it across. And this is compressing any cracks that you have. If you've bent the clay in any way, this is going to straighten it out. Let that carefully pull up because you don't want to bend it. You want to bend it as little as possible. And then do the other side. Okay. Next, you'll cut your templates out. Where would you put your template on?
Right at the bottom.
Down here? Yeah. So just like when you're cutting like a small piece out of a big piece of paper, you don't cut into the middle. You cut out as little as possible. So I'm not going to just put it right there, cut it out, because then I have all this extra room that I could have used. Because you want to try and get as many pieces as you can out of one slat that you rolled. And for this one, I might use this one first, since it's wider. Make sure it's on there, then use the knife, don't use the needle. So some of you who don't have steady hands, you might want to use a ruler.
Yeah, that's me.
Just get a ruler, place it on the bench. Like that. And right now you are cutting just like straight up and down. Make sure you're not cutting at an angle, straight up and down. Right, and when you lift it up, again, you want to bend it as little as possible. And then you'll want to put it on one of the bats, some plastic, and then you keep cutting. So if you already have a straight line, go ahead and use that. Don't cut like that. Does that make sense? Good so far? Okay. Once you have all your pieces cut out and you've let them sit and they're leather hard, which these aren't, you'll want to kind of like try and put it together, just to make sure that you have the right pieces, that you cut them the right size. So that's my bottom. So I'm going to do my sides. All right, so I'm good. Now comes the hard part. And this is why you want to set it up first, so you can see where you're going to cut. So I've told you before that joining two pieces like this is not very strong, right? I told you that, right? You want a 45-degree angle, right? So you're going to have to cut that into your slab. So again, with your knife. And if it helps you to visualize it, like to put it together, I know that since these two are going to be like this, that I want to cut these two sides. Make sense? There's a few ways you can do this. You can get a tiny little triangle with your knife. And that's the angle you're going to do. So you can see. And then use that. Draw another line. And this is like about 1/4 of an inch. And then use those lines that you drew. And that gets you your 45-degree angle. Okay? Does that make sense? I've measured my slabs, and I know that this is 4 inches, and I want to make sure that this stays 4 inches. So that's why you measure, so you don't cut any off this part. That makes sense? All right, and since it's going to be box, I know I'm going to do the other side too. So turn it around. Make that little triangle. Make sense? Sort of? All right, as you're doing this, so this is my bottom. This is going to be one of my sides. And then make that my top. You only have to cut the sides. You don't have to cut the bottoms. Okay? Questions so far?
Do we add our designs on before or after the spray?
That is going to be up to you. I don't. It just depends on what your design is. If you have lots of like little textures that's not really sticking out at all, you can do that first. But any like 3D stuff, like you've done with your elephants, I would wait. All right, so you see how I've like kept it assembled also, so I don't get confused? I don't accidentally do the wrong thing. And you don't have to smooth any of your edges out yet because you're gonna do that on the outside eventually. All right. Sorry, I'm not prepared. Any questions so far?
On that. Yeah. Grow up.
All right, so when you're slipping and scoring now, because you don't want to deform any of the edges, I suggest using the needle tool. You'll have more control and less of a chance of like warping an edge. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yeah, sure.
So you can use slip. I would use slip. Slip is clay and water mixed together. And then this is why you want your pieces to be leather hard. Because you want them to be able to stand up by themselves. But you're just going to press down, so I'm like pressing down this way, but not enough to bend it. Pressing, and then you can use your finger right now. Just kind of smooth that out. And then to make sure that it's extra strong, keep your little scraps. And make like a little coil to put in the seam. And always support both sides, so like I'm supporting the outside with my other hand. And just like with the coil pods. Smooth it out. You can use your finger, you can use a wooden tool. also smoothing the outside. This one right here. Sorry, I know this is boring. All right, so you can't just do the bottom. Now you have to do the sides. Something that I haven't done yet, but I highly suggest that you do, is get one of these banding wheels.
Oh, no.
No?
Who
Why?
doesn't like 'em?
Why?
Last time I was doing the little bowl,
Uh-huh.
and it got stuck in there. I had to restart.
Did you put plastic or paper? Okay, you have to put plastic or newspaper or paper towel. Otherwise, yes, it will stick.
I worked on that for the whole period. So for the whole period,
Because once you start, you really don't want to be picking it up like that. All right, so when you're joining the sides now, you want to line up the outside. So if it doesn't match up perfectly, right? The outside is what matters. So the outside, you'll match up perfectly. If the inside doesn't line up exactly, that's okay, because you're going to put a coil on it anyway. And if it's kind of messy at this point, that's okay. Because once you have it constructed, then you can go back and smooth any edges. Okay, so just like this side, and do the same thing. The coil. Always support the outside. You also want to put one in the seam as well. Okay, do I need to show you how to blend this, or can I just skip? So the last two sides, exactly the same.
think we will get to this point today?
No.
Sound like it's hard.
I don't think you can make one.
Okay, so I would put a coil on those seams. And the last one, I like to make sure that I've got it the right way, because sometimes this way will fit better than this way, depending on how you put it together.
Do you think we're gonna have enough clay for that?
I'm gonna give you one
Do we need to, what do you call it?
question.
We need to, I forgot what it's called, put a partner.
We just slab it.
Yeah, that.
You wanna buy one?
Ooh,
Huh?
They're like thousands of dollars.
I know.
What did you say?
A slab roller, it's like a big old thing with a big old roller.
No, I needed.
That's what I'm saying.
slab
That's what
on
you
it,
need.
like clay, like push it.
Wedge it?
Yeah, that widget.
Oh. Just like one. Okay, do you remember how? Is that what you're asking me, or?
I mean, I think I
Yeah, I know how, but it don't work out.
do. Yeah, it doesn't
It's
work.
hard. I can show you all again if you want. All right, do you have any questions so far?
No.
All right, the lid. This is gonna be one of your decisions based on your design and what you're doing with your box. There's several ways that you can make your lid. You can make your box like this and do the lid separately. You can completely put your box together and then cut out your lid. And I'm going to talk about this next time because you're not going to get to this part anyway.
Are we gonna be able to open that?
Yeah, it's gonna cut it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you have to do is make a lid that is removable, but that stays in place. So if
Oh,
I
not
made
like-
this, yeah, if I made this and this was my lid, and I just was like, okay, that's my lid, this is just gonna slide all around, it's just gonna fall off, right? So if you make a lid separately, you have to add what's called a flange. And I'll talk about that, but basically, a flange, there's many ways you can make them. But it's like,
Is it like that thing that stands out, sticks out?
yes. You have to make something that will hold the lid in place. And so you can do it with coils, you can make another slab and put it on there. But if you have the flange, once you put it on, that's gonna stop the lid from moving off. Does that make sense? And there's lots of different ways you can make this also, which I will show you. Any questions
Not at all.
about how to roll out your slabs? No? One thing for y'all, you'll really need to use a lot of slip and score really well. I didn't this time because my clay is still pretty wet, but y'all's is gonna be a little bit drier. Okay, so if you don't, it's just gonna fall apart.
Miss, can we grab slips in the orange bin thing?
Yes. Or you can get some, actually, I would probably just get some of that, the dry clay, and just put it in your water. The bone dry clay actually dissolves faster than if I put this in there.
Yeah.
You just have to put it in there, let it sit for a second, and that'll turn into slip. Okay? No questions? All right, if you get to slab rolling today, the rulers are here, the rolling pins are here. You have to rinse them off when you're done, please. Always do it on canvas. Don't roll it on the table
Cold.
or the Formica boards. Canvas, it will stick. If you are rolling and your clay is like curling up, you're doing it too hard. Okay, you need to push outward. Don't just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Okay? All right, if you need help with making a template or you need help with coming up with your design, just let me know.
I already got my design, remember? Oh, you forgot. What was it?
Your bed?
Yeah.